All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Math Puzzle Crash Course. We've got a mixed operations problem here containing division and multiplication. It's a pretty simple problem. However, I do see a lot of wrong answers on this one. So if you'd like to try to figure this one out, you could pause the video here, and we'll come back and work it out together. All right. So let's begin. If you recall your order of operations, you'll know that multiplication and division have, it shouldn't be has, it should be have, equal precedence. Multiplication and division have precedence over addition. So you want to review the order of operations convention. Where some people are getting confused is that they memorized an acronym such as PEMDAS or BODMAS, BEDMAS, or BIDMAS. Those are some of the common names. I'll get into those a little bit later here. But the truth is, they all describe the exact same order of operations. And within those order of operations, multiplication and division have equal precedence, and they're just solved left to right as you see them. Uh, I will say, back around, was it 1659, there was a book, Deutsche Algebra, and back then, I think it was Johann Rahn, I think was the person who wrote that book. I'll have to look it up. I don't have the notes in front of me, but back then there was an interpretation of the obelus, which is the division symbol, where everything to the left was considered to be in the numerator and everything to the right in the denominator. So it would actually be, considered 500 divided by 2 times 2 divided by 1 altogether. But that interpretation really is not. I don't really see that used anywhere today. I know oftentimes people will suggest there are suggestions to not use the obelus in division and to use I think it's a vinculum, I believe it is, just a horizontal line rather than the obelus because of that prior assumption. But really, if you've followed the order of operations that everybody's really been taught for a very long time, you'll know that multiplication and division have equal precedence. So in this case, the division symbol only acts on the 500 divided by 2. And that's how that works. So the way that you would actually solve this would be 500 divided by 2, which is 250. Then you take the 250 times 2, this 2 right here. 250 times 2 is 500. 500 divided by 1 is 500, and the answer is 500. Now, where I see a lot of people in error is that I've seen a lot of people come into this problem and say, well, you have to multiply first because PEMDAS says so. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to multiply this 2 by 2 first and then divide 500 by 4. So it's an incorrect interpretation, and what that comes out of, it comes out of people memorizing PEMDAS and assuming it's a 6-step checklist, which it's not. The order of operations is only 4 steps. If you have parentheses, you solve inside of those first. If you have exponents, orders, indices, and BIDMAS, it's square roots, factorials, anything that's shorthand for multiplication, you would do before regular multiplication and division. But division is just the same thing as multiplying by a reciprocal. The multiplication and division have equal precedence. There's no magic formula that says multiplication has to be done first. That's false. It comes from people memorizing 6 letters, but forgetting the order of operations is only 4 steps. You can easily check this on a cell phone calculator or a scientific calculator. If you type in 500 divided by 2 times 2 divided by 1, you're going to get the correct answer of 500. If you put parentheses around the multiplication, then you are prioritizing that multiplication. So you're going to have 500 divided by 4, which is 125. 125 divided by 1 is 125. But as the problem's written, the answer would be 500. Now, I will have people say, well, my calculator gives me a different answer. Well, if you're using a calculator that uses immediate execution mode, Those calculators do not handle typing in an entire expression and then hitting the equal sign when you have multiple operations. And what I mean by multiple operations, I mean mixing multiplication with addition, subtraction with division, multiplication, so on. If you have if you have operations that are at different levels, then those types of calculators, you have to understand that you have to manually do the multiplication and division before the addition or subtraction. It's not that the calculator's wrong. There's different input methods for calculators, which has nothing to do with mathematics. I've got a whole video devoted to that, so I'm not going to get into that topic here. If you want to look that one up, I can put a link to it in the description here. Again, I mentioned earlier, depending on what English-speaking country you might be from, there are different acronyms that are used. BIDMAS is one, brackets, indices, things like square roots, powers, factorials. You have division and multiplication, but notice the box around division and multiplication. That's because they have equal precedence. The same is true. Addition and subtraction, those have equal precedence. Subtraction is just adding a negative number. So the boxes represent that these operations are at the same level. BODMAS is very similar. You have, again, these are called brackets. Especially like in the UK, they don't use the word parentheses, they use the word brackets. So brackets, order, and order again can be powers, your square roots, factorials, um, exponents. Those are all under the under the level of orders. Then you have division and multiplication again, and note the box, they're equal precedence. Addition and subtraction, equal precedence. Um, and then in North America, a lot of people in the United States, they may be familiar with appendus, which is parentheses, and then they use exponent, and exponent is okay, except it actually includes things like square roots, factorials, but it doesn't specifically call them out by name. I really don't like the use of exponent because that doesn't necessarily tell you the whole story, but it's what's intended here. So it's parentheses, exponents. Again, they have multiplication written first in the acronym, but it's meaningless because, again, multiplication, division have equal precedence. Then you have your addition and subtraction. So hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully it jogs some memories that people may have forgotten the order of operations or they vaguely remember an acronym. So hopefully it's been helpful. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.